again, just being on the different sides of this swinging door, being with your team in the truth, in the chaos, in the struggle, and then being with investors in a projection of the truth and a glamorization or window dressing of the truth. And those different worlds feeling very at odds with one another are quite bizarre. I don't know if I really see it as like team versus investors, but let me see if I can think about it and make it work. Like, you make a good point in your question that like equity, like you just have so much of the pie to give away, and the two people that you give equity to traditionally are like your employees and investors. So that is one way in which they are very much at odds with each other. Usually you give you when you start the company, you put aside 10% of the business for employees and future employees, and you dole it out in small pieces, and the rest of it is saved for investors. So it's sort of a protected slice. I think, investors have ulterior motives. They want you to grow very quickly because there's something called IRR, internal rate of return, and it's how an investment fund is measured in terms of how well it's doing. And in overly simplistic terms, it's just, their investments, like, are they appreciating in value on paper? If they invest in the hub at an $8 million valuation, and I am now valued at $20 million by the next investor, or 24 million, they've tripled in value. And if their investments are all doing that, their internal rate of return, they're returning their money, their investment is growing. Investors want you to grow 20 to 25% a month, at least, seed round and A investors. And that's like inhumane growth. Like it's not normal. And so a lot of the brands that we all know and love, Allbirds shoes, Outdoor Voices, Casper mattresses, Away luggage, all of these sexy e-com brands, or Uber or WeWork or what have you, almost all of them grow inefficiently. They spend a lot of money to get customers, and then they don't make that much money back from customers, and they're losing money every month. Often, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, sometimes even billions of dollars a month. All of those brands I just mentioned, they're all not profitable. They're all businesses that should be dead. And the only reason they're alive is because investors have put in tens, hundreds, of millions or billions of dollars. So it's very odd, like this whole VC game that I'm about to get back into, because I'm going to try to raise in a couple months. They force you to do things that are inhumane and are bad for your business, in the hopes that you'll sort of achieve what's called escape velocity. You keep raising money, which kind of pulls you down to earth. It's the gravitational pull, and you're wanting to grow and get out into outer space. And if you can resist the pull of gravity, then you win. And if you don't, then you fall to earth in a fiery mess. And 9 out of 10 startups fail. 7 out of 10 startups that have raised over $1 million from venture capitalists fail. So you can get $1 million and still have a 30% chance of success, 70% chance of failure. That's pretty crazy. So your team, buys into the vision. Your team are your soldiers. You want to take care of them. You want to, even though people know startups are risky, having it fail and looking those people in the eye, and they really believed, they were really naked and vulnerable, and you really shared something. And failing for them is perhaps the most painful out of any person I'll have to look in the eye if my company fails. So investors forcing me to grow in a way that's inorganic and sort of inhumane and not natural pushes me so hard and so fast that it will bifurcate. I'll either win dramatically or fall into a fiery mess. Normal businesses follow a much safer path, which means that they probably won't grow like this, but their chance of success is 82% instead of 30, right? So long rambly answer, but trying to work through it. I think what you want at the end of the day is to take care of your team. good leaders eat last. That's what they say. You know, like my team is my lifeblood. Without them, I'd be nothing. And so by taking on money from investors, I'm exposing the company to a chance at supreme success, but also enormous failure, huge risk. And so I'm putting my team at risk. You know, it'd be like if we were driving Ella somewhere in a Prius and someone said, hey, do you want this, you know, souped up Ferrari? Why don't you guys hop in this car? It'll be more fun. But if I drive 180 miles an hour around turns, there's a really good chance that we crash and die, right? So we might just want to take the Prius and get there in one piece. So raising money is sort of like that. Like you get to zoom around in a Ferrari for a while, but it might not end so well.